Lions, really good team. Let's start. You've got stop the run, be physical, get Goff on his spot. Take us through that and kind of the thoughts there.
Well, the first thing you're going to see is this wide zone. So they do a great job with switching. And now you're going to see at the bottom of the screen here, I'm going to circle defensive tackle who's on the center, and then the 5 technique. And that's a big bubble there you can see between those. So they do a good job of creating bubbles to run at. And then they're really physical. So you got to match that physical identity. And what I mean by this, you're going to see these 2 receivers block, and then you're going to see Penei Sewell, probably the best tackle in the league. And watch him block down. He's going to take a really good offensive line from the Ravens and block them down. Now, once you stop the run, now you got to get Goff out the spot. You can see he does a great job. There's a corner blitz, and he does a great job of a high-low. There's the low receiver, there's the high. Corner sits, he's going to throw it over top. So what you have to do with Goff is you have to get him off his spot because he's throwing at about 77%. And it all starts very much like what the Browns want to do. It starts with this run game. And very much like the Browns, Goff is going to be a statue. He's going to be a standing target. He's very, very good, but he's not a guy you have to worry about running around. So I think that plays into the Browns' hands. I think what they have to do is they have to, after they stop the run, Graham and Collins really have to create inside pressure. If they can create inside pressure and make him reset his feet, that he's not as good. As you can see here, when he gets to set his feet and make reads, this is tough. They roll the cover 2. He does a great job of hitting that corner route on the high-low smash concept. They just got to, they have to make sure that it all starts with the run. Dan Campbell's a physical guy, so they got to match that identity, and then they got to move Goff, and they got a chance for sure in this game.
Yeah, and again, you're taking a look at the Ravens defense, which held the Browns in check, but it's kind of interesting. I think when you look at this, the matchup for the Browns defense isn't horrendous when you think about it, because you're right, Goff is not mobile, and that I can't imagine standing back there the way this defensive line is playing and being patient.
Well, and the thing about it is that Jim Schwartz is a master of creating matchups, but also bringing blitzes that there's no one left, and you have to get rid of the ball quickly. And part of the mastery behind what he does is getting QB hits and QB pressures, and pressures are more important to me than sacks. Pressure, like you said, gets him off his spot, prevents him from being patient, getting to that second, third read. So those are the things that I think the Browns will do. There's no doubt this Browns defense matches up with every single team they play this year. Without question, I don't care who it is, they will do great. If you think about the first 4 teams they've played, they've held 4 really good running backs, including Lamar Jackson in that, to 109 yards on 50 carries. So this team will get after it. Now, this offensive line for the Lions, they're going to have to bring their A game, but I think they will. And Schwartz will find those matchups that benefit the Browns. And remember, Myles Garrett's a matchup problem for anybody.
Well, and this line's a little different. The tackles were pretty good. You mentioned Sewell; he's really good. Their right tackle's a little banged up. He didn't practice yesterday. I think he was back there. New center in the interior is younger. And again, that's not something you want to deal with relative to Malik Collins and Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson, because they will create some problems there.
Well, you just said it too. You mentioned a bunch of different names. So not only are they really talented players, but there's depth there, and they're going to keep running players at you. And Schwartz is going to keep running players at you. And then he's got Schlesinger behind, who's sideline to sideline, can play within the tackles. He's also a great blitzer. He's a sure tackler. So I think the Lions are going to get a much sterner test than they've had the first 3 weeks. Because I think this is the best defense, especially the best front 7 in the NFL right now. So if they can create some short fields, get the turnover like they did last week, and the offense can kind of get it going just a little bit, they're going to be in this game for sure.
Yeah, and Goff is a guy that when you do pressure him, particularly up the middle, he does throw the ball into harm's way.
Well, and there's nothing worse than A and B gap pressure. Everybody talks about getting hit blindside. When you get hit blindside, you don't even know they're coming, so you're like a rag doll. Those rarely hurt, and those rarely mess up your reads. What messes up your reads is interior pressure in that A and B gap, because your eyes go down to those guys, and you have to move within the pocket. You can't step up in the pocket, which these guys who don't move very well, they like to have those tackles, ride those guys, defensive ends around the end, and then step up. That's impossible to do right now with the Browns because the interior pressure is as good as the exterior pressure.